Okay, we are recording. You can tell what I got on my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And it is now 9 o'clock. Time to get started with our Right Stuff Group. And let's do something a little different. Let's start off today with good news. Who has some good news?
I do.
Okay.
Good morning, everyone. I actually do have an associate slash office manager that will start working with us on August 15th.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yes, I'm so happy.
Did you do a profile on him?
Will do. I need to speak with her this coming Monday, and then we will proceed with the profile.
Okay. What was it about that individual that made you want to recruit them?
First of all, I got her from a very good client, the human resource manager of a big organization. She recommended her, and she has a lot of experience in the area of human resources. She has worked in government, she worked for KPMG, she worked for different organizations. She has continued to develop herself in areas of personal presentations, like she wants to do public speaking. She likes to do training. The client that recommended her said to me that she herself doesn't like to do any presentations, but this person did all the presentations for her. And I just liked her aura. Both Sunny and I, we liked the way she projects herself. And I like the fact that she actually knows more than me.
Okay. Did you share your vision with her?
Yes, Sam. Yes, and I passionately share what it is that we are doing. I remember you mentioning this, so I remember that in our conversation. So I did share it with her.
When you did that, how did they react?
A little bit surprised, I would say, in the sense that most people don't find organizations that want to transform their community and are not used to work with organizations that bring about positive changes in people's life and make them happy and successful. So I think that did trigger interest in her also.
Good. All right. Anybody have any questions for Roxana?
Sam, who all's on the line? Maybe we could take a roll call. I don't know who all's on the line.
Well, Jose, Karen, Roxana, somebody by name of Guest, which is probably you, Pete, Lane, Rich Lewine, Sandra Graham, Dr. Al. Oh, wow. Rennick Brutus has decided to grace us with his presence again.
Oh, welcome, Brutus. Sam, I had a little bit of good news. I made 6 presentations in a row and sold 6 of them. One of those 6 is 2 referrals, but they were only onesies, just one at a time. But one has called me and given me 2 referrals of people that she would like to go through the class with us. And she's going to call them and tell them that I'm going to be calling them. So that's pretty good news.
Now, what are you going to do to improve those odds?
Well, that was just happened to be in a row that happened that way, but I had some that before and after that I didn't close.
But doesn't that feel good when you hit something like that?
Yeah. So.
Well, they could do 12 for 12 next week. That would be better.
Yeah, well, what I did was I've got two. I had an open enrollment class scheduled for September the 24th, and so that I've got that one filled up with 10 people. So I've scheduled another one on the 25th, which they'll go simultaneously, one on the 24th and one 25th. And the good thing about that, if someone misses on one, they can make up the other one, unless they're gone the whole week. So that's my good news.
Okay.
Congratulations.
Well done, Pete. Well done.
You know, if you come to think of that, I received an MDBS on somebody. Could you imagine how that would change your MDBS, Richard?
Oh my God. I got a new one yesterday.
That's the one I'm referring to.
I know.
Excuse me. Okay. Who else has some good news?
I have some good news.
All right.
So I went on a sales call yesterday and closed a deal, which felt really good. Super excited. It's a small company, but I'm just looking forward to the opportunity. Then also I had a graduation last night, and I tried something a bit different than I normally do for my graduations, and it was really, really good. So not only did I have them invite their mentor, but also anybody that would be interested, anybody that they felt would benefit from this program. So there were about 17 in total that were there. And the company that hosted it, they let me use their boardroom. The general manager had been watching me come in and out week after week after week, and he was intrigued. So he asked if he could attend, and I said, absolutely. And so I am following up with them for potential sales. So I'm super excited about that. I thought that was a great idea, but it made me think, even as I went home last night, that I don't know how I would do it, but I'm thinking about maybe my next graduation, making it an open house and inviting all my potential clients to see firsthand what this program does. Because nobody says it better than the client themselves when they're graduating. You're muted.
You are correct. Okay. I said amen.
Okay. I could read your lips, but nobody else could hear you.
Okay. No, that was good.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. I like that.
I like that a lot. That's
I would
good.
have to modify it a bit. Like, I allow each of my clients about 10 minutes to kind of do a presentation. So if I have a small group of 5, obviously I couldn't do that, but I could maybe pick 2 that I felt would be better at, or maybe enjoy public speaking a bit more than the others. And maybe even if I just showcase 2 people and then still do all the presentations for everybody, I think that would still be an incredible win.
Do you do your graduations along with lesson 6?
No, I make it a separate event.
Good.
The food, they all get a book, no can-do book for the EPP, and I frame their certificates. I try to make it as special as I can.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Yeah.
I had an interesting response as a result of being involved with you and everybody else on the recruiting call on Monday, Sam.
Tell us about it.
Yesterday, I sent out, I don't know how many, maybe 50 or 60 3-paragraph descriptions of the fact that I'm looking for 2 people by the end of the year. And I had 3 people, and I asked, it was asking those I sent it to if they know anyone who would be interested, as opposed to asking them if they're interested. But in the back of my head is people respond to that. 3 of those people said, when can we talk? And I've already had one discussion this morning. I have another one after this, and I'll have another one tomorrow. So what happens, I mean, I could have done that. I don't know, for how many years could I have done that? I can't even figure out how many. But it took involvement with our colleagues and a new goal written and a win-win agreement and various other factors to get it to happen. But all you have to do is get clear on what you want and take the steps, and there it is. Begins. I don't know that I'll get these 3, but it's 3 more than I had potentially before. So it feels really good.
That's a great idea.
Yep. Mike Lee got into the program, and he went through the program before, and he said the reason why he's getting back into the program is because when he's in the program, he disciplines himself to follow through on his action steps.
Yep. Makes a difference. I'll be right back.
Okay. Karen,
Yes, sir.
based on what he said, you said that's a great idea. What's your idea? What are you going to do?
Well, I was kind of mulling it over because, I'm looking at that. I actually spoke to a gentleman that's doing a website for me, and he had said, like, we're working on the About Us page, and he said, well, it's just you. I said, actually, by the end of October, I will have someone else. And he goes, oh, okay, that's good. So I kind of spoke that out. And then, so then my mind was going, okay, how are we going to get this to happen? And I was kind of thinking of different ways that I could put it out there to get, like, who would be interested. Because like Rich was saying, there's those that you think would be maybe a good potential, but there might be people that just we don't think of that would be maybe a great fit. So, yeah, I'm mulling that over. I kind of like Rich's idea, and I might try to do something very similar.
Okay. Now, when you said the About Us, and he said it's only you, am I correct?
Yes. I mean, like he knows about it's my website's very LMI friendly, extremely. So like I on the page I will have similar to what Jeff did with his website in Chicago, where it shows the 80 different countries, 200 associates in the US, 25 plus languages, all that. So it's not just me, but the team is currently me. But I'm like, I'm going to add Linda because she's technically part of my team, even though she's not in my state.
That's right.
So then I'll have 3. So
that's right.
4. Who's 4?
Me.
You want me to stick you on there?
Yeah.
Oh,
Jeez, I would be insulted if you didn't.
Oh.
5.
You see how that happens?
I love that. I love that.
I was even thinking, what about me? My chop liver or something.
We didn't
you
want
all
you to.
send me your bio and a headshot, and I'll stick you on my website. Honest.
Sorry I had to leave for a minute, folks.
Oh, you missed something good, but you're
6,
not on the list now.
7.
Thanks, Al.
Love it. So
Okay.
I need the bio and the headshots by August 15th.
Okay. Well, you can get mine right off of the LMI website.
Here you go. Okay.
Me too. Did you need mine? Nobody needs mine.
Ah, come on. Jeez.
We're all part of your team, the team. We're all part of each other's teams.
Yeah.
Yep.
I love that.
So, it's one thing they say sometimes, you're in LMI, well, for yourself, but not by yourself. There's no way you could say you're in LMI by yourself because there's too many people out there. And I had somebody who came on board who was a franchise, a new person, that basically said, I cannot believe how everybody that I talked to was so willing to help and assist in this business. Assist them in this business. So, okay, good.
Yep.
Okay, other good news.
I got some. Am I talking still?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I'll be quiet. No. Pete's allowed me to talk now. I got a call finally from my almost client in Madison, Wisconsin for a succession planning stint. And I hadn't heard from him in weeks and did not know what was going on. And between Sam and my daughter, they directed me into a pleasant, could we get an update message, which I got down to him, and he finally called me because I've had problems with my business email. He called and said, well, let's just talk on Thursday. So I have an hour and a half meeting over the phone with him tomorrow morning. And I was at the point of wondering, well, didn't get that one, better get to looking down there for somebody else. So it's not, never say never, never give up, never, good, all those good affirmations. And maybe we'll have something better even tomorrow.
Great.
Thank you, Sam.
That's awesome.
Well, that was a group effort. I mean, there's, the host does actually do what he says he's going to do, which is to help all of us. It's those little pieces of point on help that make the difference. And I could have stuck my foot in my mouth 1,000 different ways, and many of you already know that. But there was a little part of me that said, don't be the whatever contentious is a polite word for it person. Even though you think you're not being that, I have my default setting is to always push a little bit.
I heard it said, you don't want to be the contentious uncle that's invited to the family dinner because you're part of the family, but nobody really wants you there, and they don't want to say anything to you because they're afraid you're going to fly off the handle.
Yeah, that was my father.
Okay. The reason that I was asking earlier if Kiefer was here is, he's just he's not going to say anything about what he's doing or what he has done. But John Kiefer may just end up being #1 this month.
Awesome.
Cool.
Okay. He sent me a notice of a 25 program day. And then later on in the same week, he sent me another notice of a 4 program day.
And this is a semi-retired guy.
Nice.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. He only works 20 hours a week.
There you go. Doesn't take a lot.
No, it doesn't. I'm actually, he's starting to look better and better to me.
Yeah. He's on LinkedIn all the time.
So, yep, he has, it's a 29 program month. That's not bad.
Gives Pete some competition.
Oh, yeah, but Pete is the king of the onesies, twosies.
He is. And anytime you want to come over here to the sunny South Florida area, Pete, you are welcome.
Well, thank you.
And the Caribbean.
And it's only an hour on a plane from my place to her place, so it's really easy.
Okay, anybody else have any good news?
Yes, this is Rene. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
So yesterday I had a second meeting with this guy who is a former city engineer. And Pete, I mentioned you in glowing terms in your career with the city and the work you've done. In the context of sharing with him how the LMI process and tools could augment very well the work he's doing, which is in the area of asset management. He worked with a city and left about a year ago, took time off, pursued a goal of hiking the Appalachian trails, got some clarity, stepped out on his own to start his own consulting business with a focus on asset management, and just landed a contract with a city very close to mine here in Grand Rapids, Michigan, which he figures is about $100,000 contract. But it's going to involve that focus on asset management and strategic planning and streamlining goals for prioritizing. That's his work. But I was able to help him recognize, and he affirmed that he does, the value of the LMI process for what he described as the implementation. And so he's asked me to provide him with a one paragraph description of what we do, so that he could integrate it into his messaging for making a case for the process to be added on, bought, that is, by the city. So that's positive.
Very.
Well done. Well done.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, Mark Way said something really interesting. Mark Way is in the sales certification class. This is a really interesting class, because I got people in the class that have sold well over 1,000 programs, and I got people in the class that haven't sold their first program. So it's a very diverse class. But anyways, he was saying that he had a class that he was running. Almost everybody was from the same city, and very few of the people even knew each other. Some people knew of the other individual but never met the individual. They just saw their name on correspondence and stuff. So it's interesting how massive actually municipalities can be.
That was one of the primary positive outcomes that several participants in the city programs I ran mentioned, that they met people in other departments that they never would have met. And they were able to help other people when they were asked, where can I get X done? Prior to meeting these people, they would say, I don't know. Now they say, call Fred, call Sam, call Sally, whoever it is, because they've met someone who actually does that and they know where it is. It makes a huge difference in the way we deal with each other and outsiders.
Yeah.
I did a program with the county from about 7 different departments, and they never gotten together because they were totally different departments. They didn't think they needed to communicate with each other. But it came through one of our EPP program, and I tried to do follow up, and I called each one of them individually about 2 weeks after the program, 2 or 3 months after the program, and they said, each one of them said, we are meeting now once a month, and we call it Pete's Group. So they didn't think they even had to communicate with each. I had the coroner, I had one in the top administrative job, and different people like that. And this program just brings people together. I had a guy did some work with the wastewater treatment plant, and I got a letter from the guy that said, this program brought excitement back to my job, and you know what they fool around with. So our stuff is powerful, I guarantee.
It really is.
Key is, if we can't get them to go through the program, no one knows how powerful it is until we can sell them. And Sam, I was going to ask you, is that sales program you're doing with the group, do you use the LMI sales program, or what are you using?
No, we're using the Sales Certification 1 manual. But it's been, we updated it. So it's a newer version, but it's not the ESS program. But to let you know, we are putting the ESS program into that online menagerie that we have set up. In fact, they have me working on the audios for it. But no, it's not that.
Is the sales facilitation, which shows up now on the website, does it still show up on the website under resources?
Yeah, it should.
Is that the new one that you're talking about? Or is that not the updated version?
I'm not sure if it's the updated version on the website.
I'll check it out. Thank you.
Yeah. The way you know is because it doesn't have what we call the old program logo.
Okay.
It has the LMI logo.
Okay, with the graphs, with the bars.
Yes.
The new one has the bars, right?
No, the new one has the Leadership Management International logo.
Okay.
Ed, can we buy what you're teaching on the phone if we're not in the class?
Yes.
Pete, would you repeat that question?
Can you buy what Sam is teaching on the sales program, whatever they're using? Or you said you were using a program or a book or a pamphlet? What are you using, Sam?
Well, when was the last time you went through the sales certification class?
I've never been through a sales certification class that I recall.
No.
I've been through several things, but I don't think I've ever been through that.
35 years ago for me, Sam.
If it was for me, it was over 30 years ago.
It's time.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I have Linda Tennant and Mark Way are both in the class. Roxanne has been through the class I don't know how many times. Well, we have a pretty good group going through, a nice size class.
When is your next class that you're offering?
Pardon?
When is the next one? Do you only do it twice a year?
Yep, that's what I do twice a year.
Okay.
And did you not?
How deep are you into the one you're doing now?
Going into lesson 4.
Pete, you can catch up.
It's well worth the effort as well as doing it. Even, I recommend it highly.
I think one of the best sales programs we have is the EPP. If you do everything you learn in the EPP, that will help you be a good salesperson, I think.
And Sam, how many lessons are in this sales certification?
12.
Well, there's 12 and you've only been through 4?
Yes.
So in other words,
sign up.
That's the question right there, Pete. Great question.
Pete, he records it every lesson, so you could pick up if Sam would give you the address. You could pick up on listening to it.
Okay, I'll call Sam separately and see what I can do.
You don't ask, you don't get, right, Sam?
That's true, but I publish this every time I'm going to be doing these. I publish them about 2 months in advance.
Oh yeah, you do that. It's not your fault that I didn't sign up.
It just wasn't a priority at the time.
It wasn't.
And recruiting, you just started a recruiting one too, didn't you, Sam? That past Monday.
The recruiting one started on Monday.
That was super, and will continue to be great.
So so I'd like to. I'll say to you right now, Sam. I'd like to enroll in that one. I was traveling on Monday. That's why I didn't. I was traveling from Chicago, Karen. Not only am I a part of your virtual network, but I've been spending more and more time in the Chicago area.
Nice.
Wilmette. So that's what, North Chicago, right? So I've been out there 2-3 times a month.
Wow.
And I anticipate spending more time out there. So maybe my physical presence could be available to support you in some way.
Yeah, I'll have to schedule a time that I can go up and join you there. That would be awesome. I'm a couple hours south of Chicago.
Okay.
Yeah, Sam, I did have maybe it's a comment. Regarding the sales certification, you are correct that you do post that information quite regularly to us, and it is fully available to us. I suggest that who's going through it, Linda Tennant and Mark Way?
Well, there are two people I know that most people know out there,
Yeah.
yes.
So what if they were to put a 2 or 3 sentence blurb on the next, after they finished, on the next newsletter that you send out, that just states the value that they found? Because to be honest with you, when I see it, I'm thinking, oh, well, I don't have any new sales associates. So I just bypassed it in my head. But to see someone that, maybe is highly respected in the LMI organization that's gone through it and says, this is the value I took out by going through it again, I'm already ready to sign up too. I'm going to have my husband join me in January.
All right. Well, Roxana, how many times have you been through it?
I don't remember, Sam. It's been a couple of times, and each time I do it, I learn something new. It's impossible to apply all the ideas.
So,
Hey, Rich, this is Pete. Could you send us that recruitment document you sent out and let us take a look at it?
The note I sent to the people yesterday?
Yeah, with the thing that you got responses on.
Sure.
I'd appreciate that.
My pleasure.
Yeah, I'd appreciate that too.
so
Everybody.
Richard, where in Florida are you?
In Pompano Beach.
Pompano Beach.
South Florida, midway between Palm Beach and Miami.
You said you're about an hour's flight from Roxana. Did I hear you say that?
That's about right. Maybe it's an hour and a half.
No, no. Sorry.
No?
It's 2.5.
It's 2.5 hours. The boss just spoke.
Heck, I may take a vacation there, Roxana, and come see how you operate.
All right.
Yes, that would be so much fun. You could then maybe do some sales and facilitation with me. That would be fun.
That would be fun. Yeah, great. I'll
Maybe not on your vacation though.
Well, you can write it off as a business expense.
There is Lane, the big strategic businessman.
I will check with Jean, and she's my travel agent, and if you can send me a little bit of information, Roxanne, about where we could stay, hotels and things like that, and
Definitely.
where we would buy into, and if you don't mind, email me a little bit of what you got on that, and I'll give it to my travel agent and Jean, and she can maybe figure something out.
It's also important that we discuss what time of the year you would want to come, because like right now it's not a good time. Yesterday it was very, very hot, so there are periods of the year which is mostly end of July, August, September, and maybe part of October, too hot. But other than that, the rest of the year is.
But you could recommend what would be the best times to come.
Okay.
Yeah. Besides that, Roxana, you said you generally start the majority of your facilitations at certain times of the year.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't want them to show up to, sit in on a class with you if you don't have anything going.
I would like that. I would like that. That's a good thought. We can look into that.
Great.
Maybe that's where we need to have the LMI International Convention.
Well, the next one's going to be an international convention.
Where is it going to be, Sam?
Yes.
Where is it going to be, Sam?
Yes.
I can't hear you. I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
Maybe it's in the cruise ship.
What I do know, it's either the last 2 weeks of March or the first week of April. At least we got it narrowed down to 3 weeks.
We know it's close to Easter.
All right. I'll make sure I don't plan any big trips around then.
Yeah, in fact, I think I sent that out in my last newsletter too.
Yes.
It's close to Easter every time.
Well,
So if I could just talk, I just, Sam, I just started a one-on-one session, and the backdrop here is, this is an engineering firm. They have they have 300 plus engineers in the region, and one star was experiencing burnout and was going to leave, and his boss, a senior VP, managed to talk him back into staying, but offered to help him with some personal development to address stress management. And it's kind of interesting because a client with whom I'd worked way back in 2004 has moved up in the organization and is highly respected, and reached out to me on LinkedIn, and I'm not proud to say, asked me if I was still doing the coaching. And I said yes. And he said, well, here's the situation, and explained to me. So he put me in touch with his counterpart, the supervisor or the manager of this particular engineer, the rising star. Long story short, after a couple of conversations and some preliminary assessing, they enrolled him in a program, and I started 2 Mondays ago with the EPP. And we had our first session of reporting feedback a couple of days ago. After the first session, he documented conservatively, super conservatively, being able to generate $11,000 in revenue saved or expenses saved, revenue generated or expenses saved over the next 12 months. He was able to, with respect to his business goal, get done in the course of the 2 weeks that intervened what he had committed and agreed with his manager to get done back in January.
Great. Say, Sam, can I ask the question of the group?
go for it.
When sometimes people just consider us consultants, and I really don't consider myself as a consultant. But when people ask you or label you as a consultant, how do y'all respond to that? Do you think you're consultants, or how do you respond to that? Any of you?
Well, for my part, I do say that I am, but that I specialize in consulting with small to mid-sized organizations in the arena of developing leadership and management to improve profitability. So I get specific about it.
Well, when I think of what we do, what I think we do is, to me, consultants go in there and tell people how to do things.
Oh, well.
But what we do is get people to do. We give them tools to do things, and so I consider myself as more of a facilitator and a coach, and we do some consulting. But my main job, I don't think, is actually consulting. But I was just wondering how y'all responded.
That's a good question.
Pete, over the years, I have transitioned from, and I did this about 5 years ago. I transitioned from holding myself out as a consultant, which I'd done a lot of because of my background in the financial services industry, to being more specifically a coach. financial and business performance improvement coach. And, I get asked to elaborate on that. And what I say embodies a couple of things, one of which is I get people to find joy and fulfillment in work, to improve their performance and results, to be remarkable, and progress toward becoming financially invincible.
Oh, that's good.
And
I like that.
yeah. Now, all of those things are very important to me. And one could hardly talk to me for a few minutes without recognizing and having me illustrate why that's so important, why I'm passionate about it, and why I stop at no end to help them experience and achieve that.
That's probably more important that they see that in you than that they hear it from you. I think that's that. I know this problem because, hey, I'm a teller. I tell people all sorts of stuff because I learned all this stuff, right? So I do tell, and that's what coaches do. That's what people who are used to telling folks what they should be doing and how they should be better. And what we have as our slight edge, and what I've been slowly learning is stop telling, start asking.
Yeah.
And consultants tell, coaches tend to ask more than tell. Practicing psychologists don't know what the hell they're doing, so I'm one of those.
So, Dr. Al, according to you, which function should we use? We are coaches, right? Because we ask questions.
Well, that's a better fit, it seems to me. I agree with Pete that consultants are tellers by and large, and consultative sales really isn't that. But the people. I won't go into. I was about to say something political, so I shouldn't do that. If you have the answers, shut up. And think about the questions that will help them have the answers. Frankly, the assessment business that I enjoy doing it because my style is to use the tool to have them tell me about themselves. And I don't have to ask a lot of questions, or I don't have to do really, gosh, you're a clinical psychologist-like person. I don't have to do that kind of crap because it doesn't work out in the business world. But when you use a tool that gets them to start talking because the tool asks the questions and I ask the questions, then a lot of good things start to happen. And that's, it's an ongoing battle for me. Okay. I just never stop talking and I don't start asking. So I'm going to shut up and go to the church and get my birthday pie.
Amen to that. I mean, Dr. Al,
oh, yeah,
Lane,
okay.
this is Lane. Aren't we what we, somebody always said, are you a consultant? And I tell them, no, I am a developer.
Yeah.
I'm a developer of people.
Yeah.
Actually,
Which it's, which, I mean, a coach could be that, but I'm still saying we are developing of people.
what I found a word that seems to work with these folks is catalyst for change.
Ooh, that's pretty intellectual.
Well, we could say enzymes, but that doesn't work as well. And
well, you got to remember, I'm a little simple down here in Arkansas. We run around still barefooted.
Yeah,
we like to do it.
Yeah,
better work.
There's a word for that, but we can't say it on the air.
Sam, it's the old facilitation guide. I just checked it out.
Okay, that's what's on there. Okay, now, one thing that I noticed about what Rennick was saying, two things. One, the words that he used, how descriptive they were, and
Yeah.
how they actually formed a mental picture. Paul always said, we are word merchants. You can. We're artists. You can do it in black and white, or you can do it in all the colors of the rainbow and add them together, and that's what we are with our words. And that's what he was doing with the words he chose. That and how he said what he said. Okay, because he actually said it with conviction.
Yeah.
Okay.
It just slid right off his tongue.
Right. And that makes a world of difference. Now, Roxana, people in LMI are experts at two things. What are they?
Asking questions and measuring and tracking.
Okay. So that's exactly it, is we are experts at asking questions. And because if we say it, it could be a lie. If they say it, it's always the truth. They say a lawyer should never ask a question to which he already does not know the answer to. Now,
Sam,
yes?
we asked Rennick, would you, that was great what you said, but I didn't get it all down. Could you email that to us, that statement that you made? That was great.
Yeah, sure. I'd be happy to.
Well, Sam has recorded this, and you get that you can listen to it again.
Yeah, but I'd like him just to put it in writing for me. That would be, in case I don't get to listen to it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I will, Pete.
Thank you.
You'll send it to everybody.
It also, he can show it to Gene, and he proved that he was on the call.
Gotta always prove to her that I'm working. That's all she says when I go home is show me the check.
That's right.
She doesn't care what great I think I am or how great I did. She just says, show me the check.
Yeah, show me the money, honey.
I remember when I bought from the LMI franchisee out in New York back in 1991, what triggered me to buy. Who recalls or knew Stephen Schutz? Anybody?
Who recalls what?
Stephen Schutz, a gentleman by the name of Stephen Schutz. Yeah, he was a franchisee out in Brooklyn, New York, and I bought a program from him. But very quickly, he came into my office, and I had a board on which I tracked sales. And it blew me away, his approach did, because he didn't get into the formalities of what we would describe as breaking the ice. It was very unorthodox. He immediately looked to the board and asked me, his opening words to me weren't good afternoon, weren't how was your day. His opening words to me were, what are you tracking? And he looked at the board and he proceeded to ask me about what those hash marks meant and how much more was it any more than the previous period? And if I did achieve those, how much more revenue would it translate to? And how would that improve my income? And I could answer those questions very easily. But then came this question. And it was, and how will your life be better for it? And I paused. I waited a long time to answer that question because I hadn't thought about how it would change or improve my life. He triggered the emotional connection. It went beyond business and finance and sales to me personally in that unique way. And so when I think about it, we've all talked about it, the emotion and how important that is. But that question, how will it change your life? How will you be better off? How will that improve your life? And how will it improve the life of your family? I think are good questions.
Something I noticed about you, Rennick, you're very eloquent in your words, but you are slow to speak. And I don't mean slow I mean, you are very intentional with your words. And so because of that, there's an authenticity that comes off that's just powerful. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, like, I mean, I have a tendency to speak very fast. My mind is racing. And so I literally, I've noticed that about several people that I highly respect. They speak slowly and they allow space between their questions for it to register and impact the person they've asked. And I've noticed that about you.
Thank you, and that affirms, and that's my answer to the question that's on the screen. You know, what do I do really, really well that I'd like to do even better? And I would say I would like to do even more, because if I did it, it would significantly improve my performance. And that is speaking to audiences and doing more sales presentations, asking questions that cause people to discover and sometimes rediscover the things that they truly care about, want to experience, want to achieve.
That is the one thing that I always enjoyed about doing a sales interview. And I know some people don't really enjoy it that much, but I used to enjoy asking questions. You can ask almost any question you want to ask when you're in there after you ask permission and you get some kind of rapport going about their business, about just about anything. And I really enjoyed asking questions to the point to where a person would stop and say, "That's a really good question. I'm glad you asked that." Or, "I haven't thought about that in a really long, long time." Something where I can get a response out of them, okay, so that whether I sold it or not, when I left, I felt like I made an impact. I did something.
When you ask the question also is the 90% of the time, people will say, "Boy, I've never been asked that question before."
Mm-hmm.
And they'll start not only telling you a little bit about what they do well, but you don't even have to ask them another question after that. They just start telling you about their challenges.
I believe we do not realize that there are very few people that ask questions. Most people are telling, and most people are telling you what to do. Like if you listen to all the different speakers on personal development, they're telling you. Not so long ago, I read something that says that when you ask a question, it forces the person's mind to stop thinking. And most of the time we're thinking and thinking. So I think that asking questions is more powerful than we think it is.
Now, something was said by Karen. Karen, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay.
I was muted.
You said that you really liked the way Rennick asked questions, paused, and did certain things because you have a tendency to race.
Yes, because my insides are racing, like my mind is racing. So I have to, and I've been doing this lately, is before I go into my sales calls, which I have 2 right after this, I just stop and just breathe, just slow myself down, because at the end of the meeting, I must ask powerful questions.
Do you take notes?
Yes.
Do you take when pardon?
Is that good?
Yes. No, that's perfect. Because if what they're saying is important, you write it down. If what they're saying is not important, don't bother writing it down.
Mm-hmm.
And that's basically what you're saying when you don't take notes. Yeah. When you take notes and they say something and you write it down, do you pause to read over what you just wrote and think about formulating where you're going to go next or what information you'd like?
No, I think I need to look at that later, is what I think. But that's good.
Well, that would help you to pause.
Yeah, I'll challenge myself to do that today.
You know, it's
And
almost like,
and Sam, if I might ask, would you think, and Karen, this applies to you, do you think it's okay to ask the respondent, the interviewee, if they could just pause for just a moment, because you'd appreciate the time to truly capture what they just said?
Ooh, that would be good. I think that would speak volumes to the person, to the level that I'm listening. And people want to be heard.
That would be great when you write those things down,
Mm-hmm.
and then you get to the end to use Rennick's comments.
Mm-hmm.
How will your life be better if you say you want to get better at this and this and this and this? How will your life be better if you get better at those things?
Mm-hmm.
do you see how excuse me, how powerful some of these conversations that we have are?
Yeah,
Yep.
I very much value these.
So, yeah, I'm thinking to myself, boy, if somebody would just grab a hold of this and listen to it and take notes on some of the things that were said, they can get a lot of benefit from it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Anybody have any ideas how we can get people to do that?
Well, Sam, one of the things that I actually did start to do is to listen to some of the recordings. And what I like to be able to do, it's going to take a while, is to actually make a list and write the topics that are covered in the conversation, so that a person knows, oh, these are the topics that are being covered in this recording.
That's brilliant, brilliant, Roxana. Thank you for doing that. That would be incredibly valuable.
Yeah, because sometimes I want to go back to some of the information on specific topics, and I need to look quite a while. So I thought, well, if I do this, then it's going to be much easier to go back to the information.
I know I've shared with a couple people. There's a Sam, correct me if I'm wrong. There's a new licensee in Missouri. Is that
Could be.
could be? They reached out to me again and were talking to me, and so I highly encourage them in their process. I said, find out from Sam the schedule for the right stuff. I said, because it's an accountability group that I said covers so many things. I said, but for me, it's been a tipping point to really help me kind of identify who I am in LMI, and also like just to kind of refine myself. Like, you know, I had to get willing to be real and, you know, be vulnerable. But, you know, once I got over myself, like, I think this is a powerful group.
Well, the nice thing about this group is we've been together long enough that we've bonded with each other, and you know, we're more open and willing to share the good, the bad, the ugly, you know, everything that's there. But you know, what I like is, especially with you, Karen, you get an idea and you apply it.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that what we're supposed to do?
And Sam, she has grown very fast. I look back, I've known Karen since she started out, and I see a tremendous transformation, and I see an increased level of confidence, which I don't think is possible when you're all by yourself.
Agree. Okay, well, it's nigh on to 10 o'clock, so I'm going to, end this session. Be back here again next week, and we'll just continue with the discussion. And next week, Karen could tell us all about her great appointment that she came up with and how she used the idea.
Yes.
Sorry, Sam, sorry. I just have to say that there were two people that you didn't address. Lisa and Sandy were here.
Oh,
And Jose.
quiet.
Well, they're still here, Lisa and Sandy.
Hi, guys.
Good. Hello.
Hi,
Good morning to
Lisa. Hi,
everyone.
hi, Sandy.
Hi, guys. Nice to see you.
I'm sitting here quietly taking notes and listening and learning from all of you experts. And boy, I got some really cool notes, so I'm anxious to review them when I'm done.
That'd be great if all of us that attend the international convention could get together at least once for about 30 minutes to an hour and really get to know each other.
And not only that, Pete, I think we need to be all on stage and share with everyone that actually want to be successful, that to talk about what it is that we do, because I think if more people in LMI would be doing this, we would have more people that would be growing consistently and be even more successful.
Mm-hmm. That's so true.
Okay. Thank you for being here. Thank you for a great session. I will send out the recording, and then I'll be looking forward to getting all the information from all the individuals who said that they would share that
I
information.
sent out that stuff already. Everybody's got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you,
See
Richard.
y'all.
I'll be in touch. Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.